In this installment of 5-Minute Tones, we're going to have a look at the Friedman models in the Axe FX3. There are quite a few Friedman models available to us in here, as you can see. Friedman BE, BE C45, BE version 1 and 2, and then a HBE, a 2018 HBE, a 2018 HBE with a C45 switch, and version 1 and version 2. There's also the small box, which is a different style amp. So we'll just focus on the BE and the HBE. My personal favorite out of all of those is the BE C45, which is modeled on the actual amp with the C45 switch, which from memory is like a kind of like a tilt EQ before the gain control or something. I don't know, I'm probably wrong there, but I'm playing my Gibson Les Paul. I'm on the bridge pickup, even though this guy, the selector switch, is in the up position. Honestly, when it comes to a tone with this thing, it's just a case of getting an IR that you like, and then it's not really a 5-minute tone, it's more of a 1-minute tone, because you can leave the amp at the stock settings and try a bunch of different IRs. If you watch my recent video on IR selection, this is another prime candidate to try out. So this is an IR that I use most of the time. This is a mix IR I made of my main cab with V30s. At the stock settings on the amp, this is pretty much my vibe. So that's pretty awesome. Another couple of factory cabs you might want to try. The York Audio cabs. This is a blend between an SM7 and a Royal 121. Which I think sounds amazing. Another mix that I really like are these ML USA Gent mixes. These are really like mid-forward kind of thing. They're really good for drop tunings. But I'm in standard, so I'll pick up a drop tuning guitar in a second to kind of show that off. But this one sounds really cool too. Another factory cab which is really good is if you go in here and select OH for own hammer, there are these Lynchback cabs. I just need to remember where they are. They are right here. So even just the Lynchback 57, and if you turn the low cut up a little bit with it, it sounds amazing. So if I was using this one, I would just turn the input drive down a little bit and maybe back the bass off a bit for like a classic rock sort of tone. So that would basically get me there with very little tweaking. If I turn the bass up a bit and the input drive sort of to where it was, we can go back to the cab section. Let's try the York Audio impulses again. This kind of almost gets you like a sort of recto-y kind of tone, especially if you pull some mid-range out. Or it's also great for early Metallica. The way I would use my cab with the BE is essentially stock settings. It's quite a bright IR, so I would just turn the presence down to about 3. I'd probably leave the input drive where it is and maybe bring the mid-range up a bit. And I would just add a preamp boost, probably from like the T808 or something like that. So with the input boost off, another cool thing to try with this amp is to use the saturation switch. I like it in the ideal mode. You get this. Which is pretty cool. It adds quite a bit of sizzle in the high end there, so you might want to turn the treble down if you use that. If I was playing a guitar in a drop tuning, I would tweak it out a little bit more. Let's do that. So here's my PRS SC245. Let's have a listen to where the tone's at. one way we can dial that in a bit more is to use the input EQ. So what I would do is turn the low cut up past about 120, then at around 800 hertz, I would smash 6 dB again and basically turn the Q down. And this kind of really adds a bit of hair and makes it sound, it really pushes the mids, which I love, and it's going to be great in a mix. And that's essentially like for ragdoll stuff, that's basically how I would use that. I might even turn the bass up a little bit more and just turn the treble down a little bit. You get this. Which I love the sound of. That's beautifully chewy and saturated. Let's try that ML USA Gent mix again with basically, I'll bring the bass back a little bit with these kind of settings. I think this is really cool too. And then for more of a kind of, like I said, a recto style thing in a drop tuning, try the York Audio stuff. Even bring the master volume down a little bit and turn the level up. Pull some mid-range out, basically scoop it a bit, and it sounds incredible. Yeah, so lots and lots of options with that one. Again, you can use the channels feature here. I'm cutting the 5-minute limit. I'm basically blowing it out of the water. All I would add to that, essentially for lead tone, is go into the delay block, maybe add, some 2290 delay. Why not? Because that one sounds pretty awesome. 600 milliseconds, mix about 25%, and let's push the mid-range again, and we'll go back to the IR I was using. And this is basically, this does the sort of tone that I like really, really well.